That's right, that is my water container, and that is some propane. Alex Answer here on February 10th, 2017. At one point, I was homeless. Now, I work from home on my computer, run someone's website. I also have my YouTube channel. Very little in donations are coming in, but it doesn't matter. I'm able to be on my own 2 feet and make payments on something that I'm actually going to own. I'm living my dream. And you know, this dream of mine goes back to Portland, Oregon. And so when I look at the ongoing issues with homelessness, it breaks my heart. I'm seeing what's going on. I'm following everybody that's reporting on the homeless issue on Twitter. I actually started following all the council members. I am going to watch what is happening in the city of my birth with my eyes wide open. And I'm going to comment. And I realize, even though the council members don't even know me and many others, I am commenting on Portland from a position of caring about Portland and providing solutions in a way that no other is. Not only am I unique for a Portlander, and when I was in Portland discussing these issues from an independent, non-Democrat, non-Republican position, concerns about federal government, off-grid ideas. I've had a lot of innovative thoughts, in my opinion, on the homeless problem and how to fix it. I want to share them with you. Some of those men are drinking and have mental health crises because their skills aren't being utilized. Newsflash, wow, this is... So when I'm hearing people talk about the homeless issue, I keep hearing people talk about big government. Government's got to spend to house for these homeless people. And then I heard those protests, oh, we need to take Washington Park and make tiny homes. And the others are like, no, man, this is a nice park. We're not going to be... Hey, if we're going to be having like a homeless thing, let's do it over here. So I was reading, they're talking about where to put Right to Dream because they have a big fancy hotel that's going to come like right there between 5th and 6th. Oh my God, Dante's Inferno is going to open up right there. We'll just leave it at that. There's going to be some escorts working the hell out of that place, but that's another story. So they're going to go back and forth for donuts. Pink things come in strange boxes. Kids, cover your eyes. Parents, cover their ears. Portland is one hell of a place. There's a lack of accountability for them making Portland super popular. Sure, they understand Portlandia made the city popular. What about the real estate mafia? What about other factors? Did Portland grow too fast? Too quickly? Are we seeing how technology in Hollywood can make a city grow way beyond its size? But we do see how they play in a role in making a city grow. And when you have a city in default economically, and for a while, Portland seemed to be like the redheaded stepchild that the rest of the nation didn't really want to pay attention to. When I grew up in Portland, I loved it when Portland would appear in movies. My mom's boyfriend jumped off the Galleria in Andrew Dice Clay's Brain Smasher, a love story. He was a good friend of mine at the time. And there were other movies. What was it? The Hunted. And there were maybe a couple, I guess Madonna did something back in the day. You know, she was doing her whole Justify My Love. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to keep my singing to a minimum. I am cooking quinoa here, by the way. I remember back in the day being a kid when Portland was like Gotham City from Batman when I was 12 in 1992. And I went on the art walk with my mom and her boyfriend at the time. And it was like, that was a time that was really great for Portland. I think so were the 70s, so were the 80s. I said all that to tell you this. Portland ain't the city that it used to be. The things that were really good about Portland, it's like they've been vampired upon. And I have a full hour rant where I get into my perspectives on the zombie hipster energy vampire invasion of Portland, Oregon. That's my answer to the question, what happened to it? I also have some metaphysical opinions on Portland, Oregon, and I'm going to keep those brief and short, but there's enough people that are spiritually inclined that may find this video with an interest in Portland. There seems to be an abundance of spiritual parasites that are feeding on those homeless that are suffering. I've traveled this nation, ladies and gentlemen. People don't talk to themselves around the nation as much as they do in Portland, Oregon. Do you know what the state's first mental hospital was on Hawthorne? Asylum Avenue. There's a little bit of quasi. There's a little bit of cuckoo for cuckoo puffs. That's right. That seems to go along with the city whether you got a home or not. That don't matter, folks. That matters as much as your artificial belief that one race is superior to another. Being that I don't believe in that, I believe that such ideas are nonsense. So thinking that whether someone's crazy or not is in relation to whether they have a home or not, I don't know, man. Take a closer look at some of these normal people in Portland and these politicians, and you tell me how normal they are. See, I don't sense a whole lot of normal in Portland. Okay, weird, yes. But apathetic, yes. A little too into the party, yes. A little too big into the egomaniac thing that Portlanders got it all figured out, yes. A little too bit of relief because you just got out of LA, because you just got out of New York, and now it's time for you to kick up your feet, have a good old time, yeah! Yes. Yes, 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 like the most powerful orgasm as you mate with that part of nature that you've ever had with your life, yes. As you say no to knowing too much about the Portland Underground and the Shanghai tunnels. As you say no to understanding that there is an abundance of addiction in the city because of some sort of spiritual pain that they are going through. Spiritual warfare. No, no, no. People don't want to know too much. See, that's why I left Portland. Because I knew too much. I cared too much. And this compulsive healer wanted to help the people of Portland fight off all threats known and unknown, physical, spiritual, and otherwise, because I felt that I could see it all. I felt like I could feel it all, including future threats, including ongoing spiritual attacks on the people of the streets, many of them without a place to shower. You know, it feels really good showering yesterday. I don't have a shower on my 1 acre that I'm making land payments on, but I can drive my car, my 4x4, because I work here hard at home and I save my money, and I'm not going out to the nightclub. I'm not going out for Thai food. Wonderful place, by the way, 42nd and Hawthorne. Random shout out. There are aspects of Portland that are beautiful. Hell, I'm going to come back and miss it before it breaks off into the sea, probably in 2020. World War III by 2025. Watch out for the red zone. Pun intended. Watch out for the rising beast from the east. Portland, you're in the crosshairs. Trump hates you and is doing satanic rituals. That's right. May have sound a little bit comical, a little bit serious there. Trump hates your ass at this time. And I'm not with Trump. I got out of Portland because I was concerned about shit hitting the fan. And I've warned you now about a false flag they'll blame on Muslims to bring you a police state. So you have a homeless problem. That's right, I was supposed to focus on that. Portland needs to look at the skeletons in its closet to understand its homeless problem. Portlanders need to raise their consciousness to realize what the real solutions are to homelessness, and it's not Portland spending every last dollar for affordable housing. There should be areas in which people are allowed to live. The problem is land use codes get in the way. You have land use codes on the state level prohibiting a residential homeless area in the industrial section where OMSI is. So there should be activists trying to overturn rules and regulations that are preventing people from living with dignity. And if you're curious, you can watch my Costia County playlist series when I left Portland in 2015 with an RV that I bought for $3,000 and everything of my life that I was going to keep at that moment. If you've ever seen, by the way, a green teardrop camper, it looks homemade, around town on a Harbor Freight trailer, me and my friend made that. When I went back to Portland last year, I was there and I had nothing and I came back with a backpack. I had no idea that there was such a stigma about homeless, and so many people assume, well, that boy is so talented, that boy was on Access TV, he probably fell into the drug scene. There's no other way you can be homeless. Now I think some of you actually get it. You can become homeless if you're not a drug addict. The problem is you are not a society yet even close to solutions for the homeless. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up my thoughts here. I can't go on forever, but I could. Have you, as a local government and officials, realized that off-grid living is a solution? That tiny homes are a solution. The issue is, where's the space? Where are you going to put it? And on the rural level, not so much related to Portland, are you aware that people are being made homeless because they can't afford a $30,000 septic and they own their land, and this is happening in America? Are any of you even considering lobbying for off-grid rights? Has it ever come across your desk that a lack of off-grid rights creates homelessness? I'm going to bet Alex Answer is the first to explain this to you. So, in between your trips to Voodoo Donuts and the coffee shop, and what's the name of that one place that has like the monopoly on coffee, but they're not really the best? Stumptown Coffee. Hey, in between your hipster apocalypse, I want you to check out this thing called off-grid living, where, like, you know, people grow their own food, and they're not living in one of the most popular cities in America just because it's too cool for school. With nice little bars and restaurants where you can go to happy hour and you can sit up at the stool like a big person. But in the real world, ladies and gentlemen, our ancestors used to grow food and stuff. And I'm going to stay here in Colorado where it's now legal to grow your own food. And I'm going to tell you what, man. I'm going to grow me some food on this acre. And I pay $250 a month. And I'm going to have this land paid off by 2020. And you know that $250 a month is way less than paying for rent in Portland. Oh man, some of you pay $750 or $1,000. Some of you even more. And I don't even have a PG&E bill. You know why? I got them solar panels. Okay, I'm just joking. We got some solar panels. And I got a battery bank there. And I got my cord. You know, the place is a little messy. I don't really want to show it all off. And like I said, I'm making quinoa here because I don't need a regular stove. I use propane from town. I got water containers there. I'm going to be working on some sort of a compost toilet system at some point. And if I can afford it later on, I'll put in an official septic. I'm lucky enough to live somewhere where there's flexibility. Most counties, there's no flexibility with regards to whether you can live on your land before a septic system. And some of them a little bit cheaper, $10,000, but it's expensive. Now, people need to think outside the box of telling people to suck off the tit of the state to get on welfare. I'll tell you what, Portland manufactures crazy people. And the state gives people that fall into mental illness, if they go down to the office and apply, aid. And I have a friend, or someone I know by the name of Keith Davis, although he's a wild one. He's living in one of those places in St. John's, and probably one of the better. And it's better for someone like him to be there than on the streets. And so it's helped a lot of people that have fallen into mental illness. But what about preventing mental illness? People are walking around with nowhere to shower. You know, I went to the Friendly House the last year I was there and worked out and ate while staying away from alcoholism. In less than a year, I was out of my vehicle and out of that teardrop camper, and boom, $3,000 on an RV. Yeehaw! And I remember getting on I-84 East for the first time and leaving Portland east towards Gresham for the last time. Escape from Portland, the movie that's never been made, but probably should. That is a powerful feeling. I am a success story. I want the officials in Portland to know that there are solutions to homelessness and there's ways they can help. But they got to help people to help themselves. So, you talk about dignity, you talk about showers. Okay? You talk about a situation where people are building their own shelters. You talk about, I can't believe I wasn't talking about this earlier, but I've talked about this in other videos. Men that used to work with their hands should be working with their hands as a meditation to not go crazy. You can put up a place in the industrial area, and you can hire me. Hell, I'll come help you start it. I'll come back to Portland, help you start, and I'll come back here. You need to have people run special tiny house communities that run security to keep the druggies from the straight people. People that are straight, that are off the drugs. Their mind is straight in that regard, right? Keep Portland safe. How do you do that? You can create spaces for housing and create rules and regulations to where people don't take advantage of it. You already have the Central City Concern issue with a policy of not using drugs. No, I don't think that you should really help the druggies. The druggies should go through treatment, and you already have helped them for years over people that don't do drugs. I already figured that out. You have more resources for the drug addicts than straight, regular men that have fallen through the cracks. The thing is, how do you help those that don't want the treatment? There are ways you can help them other than even housing. Like I said, if you were to provide for some of these men to actually do something with their time, right? Build something. Hey, if we're going to be a country where prisoners make license plates, you know that Donald Trump and his thug life homies want to use inmate labor from the state of Connecticut to build the fucking wall. That's fucking psycho, man. That's local. Do you know that Inverness, because I made mistakes when I was 19, because I know, because I was there once, right? You got these inmates, like, cleaning up, like the Columbia, what's that former ghetto up there? The Flats? Columbia Villa? And then going out to Troutdale and Gresham, and then, like, picking up garbage along the freeway, and then having them pick up needles and stuff like that, basically threatening the safety of the inmates, and they're not even wearing proper gloves. You may not like Keith Davis, but Keith Davis covered that. Nobody in the media covered that. So you're using, like, even like addicts themselves that are in jail for drugs, you're going to expose them to needles by making them pick them up. That's fucked up. What do you create some jobs to do some of the work out there instead of using inmates? And this goes like across the board. But at the very least, you have enough hipsters in Portland to create a website for homeless men to sell and have a sense of dignity. Create a MySpace or Facebook style page. See, you hear about people talking about ideas that can be like used as a blueprint. People sell what they make and tell a little bit about their story. And I'll tell you what, by helping get these men back to work, even if they have somewhat of a drinking problem, you can have supervisors make sure they're not using dangerous equipment. But drawings, writings, you got a Powell's book to where it's cheaper than ever for somebody to write their own life story. You know, and they can have a bunch of that stuff printed for like $4, $5, $6, something like that. I met a homeless person that was off drugs at Laurelhurst Park that would meet me there randomly through synchronicity, and he would tell me he was writing his life story about how to fight cancer and how to heal yourself naturally, and he did it without a home. See, what happened to me in Portland was a very powerful experience, and what I learned was, if you're good at what you do and you care about people, and you, for me, have an internet presence and you have a skill set. I'm also a blogger at my friend's website, and he pays me like $500 a month to run his website. My YouTube AdSense is totally different, even without donations, because ever since I went like not on the Trump bandwagon, most of the people that are contributing to my work took off completely. No shit. So the reality is, I'm a success story regardless of the fact that even within my own niche of alternative media, I am a really independent voice. By being true to myself and true to others and honest, and for coming to the aid of off-gridders even being kicked off their land, I've seen a lot of good shit happen to me. And so what I've learned is, if you feel passionate about something like I do, like reaching Tom Wheeler in this video and telling him, here, there are things that you guys aren't even talking about, I'm going to do that. Because I believe I can reach you. And I believe that as a Portlander who was born there, who just left a few years ago and lived there most of my life, also lived in Aurora. My grandpa Nagel of Nagel Fort Covering, Aurora, Oregon. Shout out to my grandpa on my mom's side. For those that don't know, my dad immigrated to the Middle East. From the Middle East in 1967. And he met my mom at Portland State University. So I have roots there, although no family and no economic means of living there. And you know, carried on with the rat race. But I live here off the grid. This is my loft studio up here. And I'll tell you what, I like the fact that instead of thinking about how do I pay the rent in Portland, it's doing videos here, not working at Ruth Chris Steakhouse where I used to work, or the Benson Hotel, or any of these places. But see, I'm watching you, Portland. I'm watching you closely, and I care about you. And I'm not going to sing this lullaby song to myself. I hate myself for loving you, because there's input that I have that some of you haven't thought about. So I ask that you subscribe to my channel. I ask that you keep an open mind. If someone wanted, like the mayor, feedback from me as a consultant, or others, city council members, city employees, I would love to give you advice on helping the homeless help themselves. Because you can't just end a homeless epidemic and give everyone housing. You have a lot of unhinged people that are drawn to Portland. I think we agree on that. But what about the people that are not so unhinged, that are very serious about getting out of homelessness? They need something more than a sandwich, a blanket, a stay at the mission, or quote unquote affordable housing. I recommend they get out of Portland. So let's explore solutions together to the homeless problem that even includes helping people get out. Mayor Wheeler, let's talk more. Let's have coffee. Amanda, Nick Fish, Dan Solzman, I'm going to send you this too. So on this channel, I will continue to talk about national topics and real solutions to unrest, even crime issues, and homeless issues. And we'll talk about this next time. I do have a future forecast that human trafficking will be a bigger deal in Portland than it is now, as more criminal elements move in. Hey, we'll talk about that and other issues later. For now, Alex Hansery, because he can't be at City Hall, telling Portland what he thinks about the homeless epidemic and the need for the community to be involved and to not ask for the government and police to be everybody's babysitter. They need to step up on their own level. I'm not really seeing that. February 10th, 2017.